Listen, I want you to deliver a message for me. You tell your asshole boss that nobody threatens me.
I understand. I'll convey your feelings to Mr. Devereux.
Now get your ugly white ass out of here. Don't come back.
Flashing lights and sirens broke the silence and darkness of the desert night as police and EMT vehicles rolled onto the scene. Bodies strewed about, and the two shootout vehicles sitting in the road resembled a scene from the war in Iraq. The smell of gunpowder was in the air, and smoke rose from the engine compartments of both vehicles. John called Armando to report what had happened. Grant wasn't happy with it, as expected, but said, "I'm thankful that you two are okay. That kid getting killed is going to bring some major heat from the feds. I know that's not something that surprises you, right?" What a bizarre thing to say, and this one still has just happened. Like, I do feel like this really puts another nail in the coffin of Armando Grant.
Yeah.
It maybe throws some suspicion on Nero, but he's a shadow wolf.
Yeah, no, it can't be Nero.
He
He's a
would
shadow
never
wolf.
betray
Yeah,
his
exactly,
brother
yeah,
shadow wolves.
Yeah, it can't happen.
Like, he just phoned Armando to tell him, and then, oh no, oh shit, they just happened to know exactly, and they could guess exactly where they were going, and they were ready for it. I think maybe...
I think Mr. Grant is a cunt himself.
And, you know, he was pestering him to try and get the kid into the jail the whole time.
He
I
was.
think Armando might be our guy.
What a prick.
Yeah, son of a bitch.
He's going to get headshot 4 times.
Yeah. Straight in the shadow. Headshot. Yeah.
Tiny little bullet.
Through his big white cap. Yeah, I know what a fan of mine Wilson has become. Right now, I'm not the least bit concerned about it, boss. I'm trying to figure out why an assault team jumped our ass out here and how they knew what we were doing and where we were doing it. You got any ideas? Armando pulled up a half hour later and jumped right into the middle of the activity. Spinning round like Steve Brule. Did he get capped during the firefight or before it? Armando asked, pointing at Jaime's corpse. John thought that was a strange question. What do you mean, Armando? John's feelings showed in his voice. Did he get hit at the beginning of the shooting or during it? Alicia asked, what difference does that make, Chief? John looked annoyed. Armando's voice was almost inaudible. He seemed preoccupied with whatever was rolling through his head.
It's lucky they're so subtle about it, isn't it? I love it though, I do love it, because it's everything you want. You know what I mean? It's a typical Seagal movie.
Everything you see coming a mile away. I'm wondering who they were after, said the seemingly uncomfortable task force commander.
I think the seemingly uncomfortable task force commander might turn out to be a traitor.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering, like, is it so obvious that it's now a red herring?
Yeah, maybe.
You've always got to stay on your toes with Seagal. You never know, where the strike will come from, He is a 8th Dan Aikido master after all, or whatever fucking made up fake ass bullshit he comes out with. My guess, boss, is they were after the kid and John Godet, said Alicia, who was shaking her long black hair free of the debris that had picked up when she had circled through the cacti to come around behind the 4 bad guys she had capped. This honestly just gets better and better, like, so weird.
What a convoluted way of just reinforcing that she's capped 4 guys, you know what I mean? Shaking the cactus fucking shit out of her.
She just ran into the cactus.
Straight through a cactus field.
Hits the fucking limb of a cactus and it just breaks off her head. Who killed who? Armando asked, pointing at the SWAT-clad bodies. I got these 2, John nodded at the 2 bodies on his right. I got these 4, Alicia pointed proudly to the rest, giving a thumbs up. An Abu Ghraib thumbs up to the crime scene photographer. He loved her for her Abu Ghraib smile. Impressive. Outnumbered, and from the look of it, obviously outgunned. And yet you're still standing and they ain't. Why am I not surprised? He looked again at the bodies. And relieved. he added quickly.
And relieved.
And wasn't involved in this. Anyway. Wiping the sweat pouring on his head. Yeah, we surrounded them. Alicia gave a tight-lipped smile and looked at her boss with a bit of coyness showing through in her demeanour, waiting for his response. So, 2 of you surrounded 6 of them. You gotta tell me how you did that. That's a secret technique taught to me by a great internal martial arts teacher. John was stone-faced as he spoke. You haven't told me how it works. Armando was curious. Why? Big secret in China, only shown to Chinese and Native Americans. Bound to silence, boss.
Oh, it's this highly secretive Chinese secret that we will only teach to our fellow countrymen.
And Steven Seagal.
Yeah,
And Russian, Mongolian, Native American, Italian... whatever fucking else he says he is. John took the conversation back to the seriousness of the situation. What do you think about this, Armando? What the hell is going on? John turned around with the swiftness of a tiger and the intensity of a charging bear and went right into the face of the man, who was rocked by the words flying out of the shadow wolf's mouth. I think this might be the best chapter of the book so far. Like, this is astonishing. This is incredible.
that was quite good. I'll give
Oh
him that.
god, I can't wait for the next shootout now. Like, settle down, John. We get nowhere if you start lashing out at one another. He sat on the ground and invited Alicia and John to do the same. What are we going to do now? Have a powwow? John was extremely upset.
Aww.
Come on, sit and talk, Armando coaxed them. That's the dumbest thing I ever saw you do, Armando. Why would we want to sit on the ground here in the middle of a road surrounded by 7 dead people? John glared at his boss. Alicia took her man by his arm and tried to bring him to a calmer state of mind. Come on, baby. Sitting down anywhere is okay if it gets you somewhere, she smiled. We are Native Americans. We sit on Mother Earth always, for anything we need.
What? We sit on Mother Earth for anything we need.
The fuck? If we're hungry, we just sit down.
What? Oh, for fuck. We are Native American after all. It's just...
This is outrageous. John looked at her with great warmth in his eyes before he said, "Where'd that come from? You turning into a sage on me?" He sat down across from Armando and next to his woman. Armando started the conversation. "I think we need to clear the air here, up front and right now." Armando nodded at John, who was squatting in what...
Oh god, he's not shitting, is he?
who was squatting in what for most would be an uncomfortable position, and not for him. For we are Native Americans. We squat on Mother Earth whenever we need anything. We squat on Mother Earth whenever we need a shit. I'm talking about the vibe I'm getting from him. Vibes? What are we, hippies now? And John broke his momentary silence with a fierce whisper. Says the fucking spirit warrior.
Exactly,
fucking
yeah.
Native
What are we,
American.
hippies now?
Vibes? Some new age shit. Earlier on tonight I saw my dead grandfather twice. No need to go counterculture here. No need to believe I'm harbouring anything about you, Chief. Wow. This is going down a path I wasn't expecting. Armando began shaking his head as he explained himself. I want to know how the fuck did these guys know what we were doing when we were doing it and who we were doing it with? How could they be waiting for us? Probably even before we got to the jail to pick that kid up. How did that happen? John was breathing fire. Who did you mention this to? Armando asked. John paused for a long moment. You. He pointed in Armando's face. Get that finger out of my face. Armando frowned angrily. It must have been that they were trailing you, or more likely they were scanning our conversation. These are the only possibilities. Only possibilities? John rolled onto his knees. Did a full roll. Came up right in front.
He rolled onto his knees.
Yeah. I don't, unless he rolled backwards. Backwards rolled onto his knees. I don't know. Right now, my jury's out on just about everything. And everyone. John looked back up at his boss. We might need to go back to code talking, as the Navajo did back when. All I know right now is if we want to keep this unit together, we have to find some way that we can trust one another. Totally. The task force commander dropped his trousers. We need to all have sex with each other right here and now.
In the road, surrounded by corpses.
The Shadow Wolf way.
The way of the Shadow Wolf.
The task force commander was pulling his leadership persona out of his shirt pocket.
It's a little hand puppet. I'm Officer Shadow.
I would like it for you to get along with Armando Will. What does that mean? The task force commander was pulling his leadership persona out of his shirt pocket. It's obviously Seagal's backward way of trying to speak English.
Leave your stupid comments in your pocket.
Just then, a forensic specialist approached, saying, "No IDs on any of the attack team bodies. Also, we ran a look on their vehicle, and it already came back as no record. Looks like we might be dealing with ghosts," John opined quietly. "A haunting, gentlemen. We have an actual haunting," was Alicia's way of stating the obvious.
A haunting, gentlemen.
Yeah. The game is afoot.
Yeah, what the fuck?
We'd better get to the shack and file the reports on this.
The love shack.
Yeah. So come on and bring your jukebox money. They were driving down it. I'm heading down the Arizona. That Agent Wilson will be all over this, and very soon. Sorry, excuse me, I'll read that properly. That Agent Wilson will be all over this, and very soon. You don't work for him, do you? Alicia spoke as she picked up her gear. And you should care why. John doubled down, unrelenting in this treatment of his superior. What? I don't understand. This chapter has completely fallen apart. And it's gone on. The bizarre use of language has just reached, like, psychotropic levels. And I literally don't even know what the fuck is happening at this point. I just want to say this, like, once and for all. Can we just all accept Steven Seagal definitely wrote this book? 14. Exit strategy. Sweet Tooth thought about the time when he and his brother Jimmy were mulling over the best way to hide the money he was bringing home, and when it would be safe to start putting it to use to make their mum's life better than it had been in years. This had to be done without drawing attention to their sudden change of fortune. "Hey, are you going to take another shot at hooking up with that reporter babe you were supposed to meet last night?" "Man, I'm so tempted, but it's too stupid for me to do that. Gotta watch my ass big time these days. Money's too good, and the people I get it from are too dangerous for me to mess up. There's other ways to make money, mano." Sweet Tooth advised the person he looked up to most in this world. "What about getting a gig as a long-distance truck driver?" Rivers truck.
Oh my god!
Bit of a crossover. That would honestly be the only thing that could make this book better, right?
Yeah, that would be incredible. Oh my god.
Maybe we could start a business together. Get Mum involved. What kind of business? I don't know. Tooth thought for a moment. Maybe a food truck. We could sell food and cake and maybe even fruit smoothies. I like the way you're thinking, kid. I just need to build us a nest egg so we'll have plenty of bucks to fall back on.
I think that would be a really good spin-off, little short story about the two brothers.
Better call Sweet Tooth.
Yeah. The brothers be gay.
I'm hoping that you got things under control. You do, don't you, Jimmy? You got it, bro. I have things under control. Jimmy hugged his brother goodbye and was shot in the head 3 days ago.
Yeah.
He's so dead. Like, he's so fucking dead. With this book, it's like there's no point in even making these jokes because the jokes just happen straight after you make them. Jimmy hugged his brother goodbye. "I'll stop by the casino on the way out so I can say bye to Mum." Their mum worked there as a cleaning lady. When he parked at the casino a half hour later, Jimmy had no idea that he was being watched and filmed by a shadowy man with a heart as empty as a cave. He was parked near the front of the building in a nondescript white van with the logo of an electrical contractor's firm, Busy Bee Electric.
Is he gonna get fucking shot right in front of his own deer?
They're gonna do them both in. Menta Begay was a good mother, who, although she had just reached 50 years of age, looked like a person in her 60s. She smiled as her son Jimmy approached her. He chuckled as he looked lovingly at the woman who raised him and his brother without her husband, who was killed in an auto accident when they were barely out of diapers. I love the organic way that they reveal these characters' backstory. He looked at her like a person who, when was 13, his sister had been killed in a drug trafficking. She smiled like the mother of a child who had been abandoned. Like, come on, fuck me.
15. The Enemy Within. Meanwhile, John Gooday had convened a Shadow Wolf-only lunch meeting.
A Shadow Wolf luncheon.
Oh my god, that's
so fucking good, man. It's so good.
Alicia, Noche, Chico and Kino gathered around a table with him. John had spoken with Armando Grant a half hour earlier and had been alerted by him that CSS Special Agent Wilson was on his way there to ask him some questions about the shootout the night before. He had no sooner ended the call when Wilson and 2 other men in suits came through the door just as the group's food was brought to the table.
Ice cream sundae with sparks, wasn't it?
What's the matter, Chief?
Yeah, you barely touched your banana kaboom.
Wilson walked up to John and glared at him. You want to explain to me how you got one of my prisoners killed last night? John looked up at the red-faced federal agent and replied with a simple no. What the fuck kind of an answer is that? Maybe that nonsense flies with the retards you work with, but it goes nowhere with us.
Nice.
You start explaining, and you better tell me something that means something to me about this mess you caused. Or, John asked casually as he sat perfectly relaxed, or Wilson looked like he was about to come out of his skin. The second time they've said that. It's a weird thing to say.
I think he's a lizard.
Yeah,
I think they're lizards.
he's Boxcar Willie.
Yeah. Yeah. He's Queen Elizabeth II of England.
Or I'll lock your ass up. You got that, Geronimo? Let me tell you something, oh great white father. If you don't stop disrespecting the name of a fierce warrior chief and start acting like you believe that me and my friends here are actually human beings, I'm gonna go Billy Jack on your ass.
Trying to weaponize the racism of the state to make like Wilson the bad guy, and then like the amount of fucking noble, savage, racist bullshit that we've had so far. They lived a simpler life, in touch with it. They don't have need for cars. What is electricity? Oh, we don't know any of these things.
Yeah. Also, there's the fact that like your best mates were fucking Vladimir Putin.
Yes.
Like you're literally
of the fucking like ruling party.
I'm not gonna call Steven Seagal a fascist because honestly, I think he's too fucking airheaded to have any kind of political beliefs, really.
Yeah.
But he certainly is an enabler for fascists. He certainly hangs about with fascists. He promotes fascism. He's a Trump supporter. Yeah. He had Joe Arpaio write the foreword for his book.
Yeah.
And now
he's
great white father. Right, there's fucking 3 separate names on the cover of this book, and then a 4th on the back, right? Are any of those Native Americans? Yeah. No, they're all white. They're all old white men. Yeah. All of them. All of them. Old, white, racist Nazis. John took a slow bite of his sandwich as he stared back at the furious CSS special agent.
He took a bite out of his lemon.
Don't you get it, Springfield? It's over. You lose. Now, if you'll excuse me, all this talk has made me hungry.
Billy Jack was a fictional character who kicked dumb shits, like you, in the nuts. He did that a lot in the movies. I suppose that's a threat, Geronimo. You got me crapping in my pants, can't you? No, that's the other way around.
I'm surprised Stephen would want to go anywhere near
yeah. Can't you see me shaking and shitting?
No, because you made everyone sign non-disclosure agreements, Stephen. Do you not remember?
He looked at his fellow agents, who were laughing loudly until John stood up slowly.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. The classic Seagal Aikido fucking slap.
He's going to put him through a table.
Yeah, he'll push him into an inexplicable phone booth in the corner multiple times.
Ain't cool.
Anybody know where Richard Bobby the Bow?
He was several inches taller than Wilson, who was by now looking up at him. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, just like Billy Jack did in the movie when he was dealing with his asshole antagonists. Oh god. Oh no. John went tiger face, a martial arts method of draining all expression from one's face.
Well, that was Iron Face.
Yeah, it was. It's tiger face now. I'm gonna take this foot here. He pointed at his left foot, and I'm gonna place it right there, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. He pointed at Wilson's right temple.
I'm gonna take this right foot, and I'm gonna whop you on that side of your face. And you wanna know something? There's not a damn thing you're gonna be able to do about it.
Really?
Really?
Then we can all watch you shit your pants for real.
What? He's still... Oh my god.
He's still fixated by it.
Yeah.
He's still...
He's gonna put
so he's got
an insert to make him be the guy that makes the fucking loudmouth shit himself. What a fucking loser. Here's to Gene the Bell. Good on you,
Good
fella.
on you, Gene.
I once shat myself in front of a room full of people, and I didn't even cry because I was unconscious at the time.
Take all this kung fu garbage and stick it up your ass, Geronimo. The Geronimo thing's getting a bit a bit tired.
Like I say, it's the way that he's using the racism to depict, he's one of the bad cops.
Yeah.
When Joe Arpaio
Yeah.
wrote the foreword to this book. To say nothing for the inherent institutional racism of the literal slave catcher force that is American policing. The Indian killer fucking bands that became the police force in America. Are you fucking shitting me?
He pushed hard on John's chest and was astonished when he felt nothing there, as the big man had moved completely out of his way like a cloud riding the evening wind. Losing his balance, the agent stumbled slightly, making him feel stupid and angry at the same time. That's something I'm sure Steven Seagal is well acquainted with. A dangerous combination, because the next thing he did was come upward, throwing an uppercut at John, catching him with a glancing blow on his chin. Wilson then threw a punch with furious energy, catching John in the ribs but hurting the furious agent's hand far more than it hurt John. Wilson pulled an expandable baton from his pocket, whipped it open to its 16-inch length, and launched at John, viciously swinging it, aiming for his collarbone, and after he missed that, for the big man's shins. John evaded that strike easily. It was then that the cat-like big man lit him up with an open-handed strike to the ribs that doubled him over and then to the floor, where he spit up half his lunch. The other two CSS agents started for John, but Alicia hit one with a wrist strike, monkey wrist in brackets, that snapped his head back. As he lost his balance, she swung her leg behind him and took him down, where he landed hard on the wooden floor. The third agent set up in the praying mantis kung fu fighting position. Oh my god!
Jesus Christ. This is ridiculous.
Imagine like this FBI suit.
Praying mantis.
Praying mantis.
And a fucking Native American ex-marine is not fucking sitting there using fucking tiger face made up bullshit. He's gonna start fucking throwing fireballs in a minute and then do a fucking fatality. Nightwolf wins.
Of course, fuck.
He moved like the ghost cloud through the wind, and like his ancestors did in
The old ways.
the ancient old ways, the old ancient old ways.
The old ways of fighting in an Applebee's.
The old ways of made up martial arts.
I love as well how he's knocked a guy down and made him throw up, because it's quite similar to to other stories that I've heard. Quite similar.
Funny that,
I can't believe this. This sentence is fucking beautiful. The third agent set up in a praying mantis kung fu fighting position and threw a double punch at John, just missing his face. John realised that this guy was a trained martial artist.
There's always the guy in the scene. Where the one guy that starts doing stuff back.
He knew this guy was trained because he took the most fucking ludicrous stance he possibly could have.
There's always the guy in the fight scene that's also an actual martial artist, and he just effortlessly adapts to whatever they're doing. He knows their style too, like in Out for Justice, where he just suddenly becomes a stick fighter. He becomes a Filipino stick fighter out of nowhere in the middle of a New York bar.
Focus fucking eye out! Focus fucking eye out! Come on, you got it now!
John realised that this guy was a trained martial artist just by his movements. The agent threw a crescent kick that turned into a straight kick. Again, John wasn't where his assailant thought he would be, and it threw him completely off. The big lawman hit him 3 times within a second, laying him out across the table. He knew this man was a trained martial artist, and so the fight goes exactly the same way as the last one.
So of course he just magically didn't get hit by him, and then hit him 100 million times in 2 seconds, and his head flew off. Fist of the washed up movie star.
You've really done it now, was all Wilson could muster as he gasped for his breath and rose slowly from the floor. He tried to get to his 2 cohorts as they got to their feet slowly. "You're under arrest," he yelled as he went for his weapon, but John laughed at him. "No, arsehole. You're under arrest for assaulting a police officer. I'm a federal agent and I call the shots here, he said angrily. And I'm a tribal police officer and you are on tribal land and you just assaulted me. You attacked me, acting like the badass you think you are. That's assaulting a police officer, which is a felony here in our sovereign Indian nation. That's not all I'm going to do to you, Wilson sneered. Drop your weapons, boys, said Noche as he stood with his 9mm pointed. 9mm. Drop your weapons, boys, said Noche as he stood with his 9mm pointed at the 3 dishevelled feds. 3 dishevelled feds, that's my new band.
Yeah, Seagal's new band.
They were standing silently, staring at one another, waiting for the other shoe to drop. That didn't take long at all. We're leaving, Wilson said as he turned toward the door. I'll be back with warrants for all of you, and you know what's gonna happen next to all of you. I'm coming back with an army if I have to, but you ain't walking on this. We got way more witnesses than you got. John pointed to the 20 or so other people in the restaurant who were standing frozen in their places, and they were all tribe members. So get your chicken asses out of here. And stay gone or you'll be facing a tribal judge, who I hear actually is the great-great-grandson of Geronimo. All the wolves laughed again as the 3 agents dragged themselves out of the restaurant with Wilson mumbling as he led the way. John watched them go with the sinking feeling that this was leading nowhere good. It was never productive to screw with the feds because of their long reach. But what he had going for him was that, being Native American, they could not violate their political correctness position. Well, that came out of left field.
What? They cannot violate their political correctness.
I think they just did, bruv. He literally, racially abused and then attacked you in what could only really be considered a hate crime. So yeah. I don't think their political
They've already tried to kill you. Like, if they were all in the deep state together, they tried to kill him last night. What are you talking about?
Especially when screwing with the Indians didn't fly in DC these days. Didn't look too good when raised at presidential press conferences. He liked those thoughts, even though he despised the misplaced rationale of the do-gooders who blindly followed like lemmings in a march to the cliffs of national disaster.
Yeah, he hated the fact that people actually cared about Native Americans. In fact, he wanted them to be racists.
Screwing with the Indians didn't fly in DC these days. Bear in mind, this is 2019. Standing Rock?
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? The continued abuse, the reservations, like none of this has changed. What the fuck are you talking about?
I suppose so, if you'd been living in Russia for the last fucking 10 years like this prick-ass, then you wouldn't fucking
and if you're a dumb racist arsehole who doesn't actually give a shit about Native Americans or any marginalised group of people, then
so
you just run
bizarre.
your fucking mouth and say whatever you like, can't you?
Yeah, this chapter especially, but the whole book has been, like we've been saying, the fetishisation of Native Americans.
Yeah.
And then it's, their political correctness. But I thought you didn't like it when they were racist.
Yeah.
Now it's
Again,
bad when people try to stop them from being
it's
racist.
the total contradiction of everything they're trying to get across. And it's perfectly summed up there, really. There is no making sense of any of them.
No.
Again, it's the classic thing that I think they've all done, pretty much, where it's like, no, I am not a white man saying this. I'm a white man who wrote a fictional non-white person to say this for me.
Exactly, and that makes it fine. Wilson clutched his injured ribs as he walked towards his car, saying to himself, this son of a bitch needs a girls' night out, and now he's going to get one. He's going to put rollers in his hair and they're going to go to the nightclub and drink some cocktails and that. It's going to be lovely. 16. The coffee pot. John's phone buzzed. It was his Shadow Wolf brother, Sunday, longtime mentor and beloved guardian, who worked in...
Another one?
Yep.
There's another one. Another older guy. I forgot one as well. Like the grandfather counts as well.
Oh
really,
yeah,
if
of
you
course.
think about it.
Yeah.
You can add him to the list.
Longtime mentor and beloved guardian who worked in security at the casino while actually being a deep undercover DEA agent. I need to see you. John was surprised by the serious tone in Sunday's voice. 20 minutes later, as he wheeled into the parking lot, he noticed a van sitting in a spot facing the entrance to the hotel. Busy Bee Electric, he said to himself. He made a note of the signage on the side of the vehicle, and memorising the license plate, walked into the hotel lobby that was also the entrance to the casino. Sunday was sitting at a slot machine, pretending to be surveilling a player when he was actually playing the slots. Pushing the play button on the machine, Sunday did not look at the big lawman as John straddled the stool next to his Shadow Wolf brother.
Sorry, he was pretending to surveil someone
whilst actually playing the slots. No, not the other way round. No.
I'm pretty sure that's a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know.
He meant the other way around.
Yeah, pretending to be surveilling a player when he was actually playing the slots.
Like I was making everyone think I was spying on someone.
Yeah.
I was actually just gambling. Like, really? Is that what they meant? I don't think so.
Strange goings on here last night, Gooday. Sunday had an accent similar to the late character actor Chief Dan George.
Why say that? Like, why even say that?
We got a call from a newspaper in New York asking us to look in on a lady who checked in a couple of days ago. Seems she disappeared, and they wanted us to take a look for her before they called the police. Maria Alvarez. She's a hotshot investigative reporter. I checked her room and didn't see anything unusual. Said she hasn't been there since sometime yesterday. Sunday looked over his shoulder at the man he was supposedly checking on. So no, it wasn't a mistake.
What? So, what, he's making sure everyone can tell?
Yeah, if you're, pretending to
then
surveil
you
them,
are.
you are surveilling them, aren't you?
Yeah, what a bizarre way of setting up the scene.
Yeah. John handed a pair of latex gloves to Sunday before putting on his pair. I'll take this end, you start there. He pointed toward the bathroom end of the suite. Both men knew how to track and wasted no time trying to find a trail that might lead them to a place of understanding, as John's grandfather would describe the moment where people find answers to big questions. She's probably a neat freak, Sunday commented stoically. Like she never did nothing here, and yet she was here for 2 days and refused maid service on both of them. Quite a gal.
Honestly, I've kind of given up on understanding anything.
Sounds like you admire her. John laughed as he searched under the bed. No, those kind make me uncomfortable.
She was smug, but not in a cute way.
John sat down on the bed and thought for a moment before saying, I'm not picking up anything. You? Can't say for sure. The spirit in this room seems to be unsettled, like something bad happened, but it's hard to tell when it was. The shadow walls all had a heightened spiritual and energy sensitivity.
For fuck's sake. They're gonna have like fucking EVP and fucking orbs in a minute. Derek Akora's gonna come out and start channeling fucking Michael Jackson.
Oh, we got all hippie now, haven't we? We got all hippie. That's fucking
spiritual attunement.
Energy sensitivity.
They're just a bunch of cops.
Yeah.
That's it. They're just good at tracking. That's a good skill. Well done. Doesn't make them magic. It's not a fantasy land. For fuck's sake.
He was speaking to the man he had seen grow spiritually into a powerful shaman, starting from a young man being guided by his grandfather, who himself had been an incredible storytelling shaman, respected by all who had ever known him. Looking at the coffee pot, John asked, I need a cup of coffee. Do you suppose? Help yourself, Big John. Sunday pointed toward the coffee pot. You want one? The big man asked. No. I drink only green tea these days. I'm civilised now, you know.
So it's a very, very questionable use of language. Like,
was a bit, wasn't it?
Civilised now. It's a bit.
Yeah. Well, no, but it's alright for him to say it because he is a Native American. See, if Steven Seagal was writing a black character who used, a certain word, that'd be fine
as well.
Yeah. What have we here? There, sitting in the basket, was a flash drive. Nice find. Probably hers. Anyone else's, and it would either be water damaged or gone. I like the way she thinks, he praised. You thinking what I'm thinking? Sunday asked. This was probably done by pros, John. The room's too clean. Except for this. The big lawman held up the flash drive. We have to keep this between us. No one else, Sunday. No one else. What do you think is going on here? Something very big and very bad. John's face went void of expression as he spoke, and it triggered concern in Sunday.
He's doing tiger face, lion face.
I can't put it into words yet, my brother. You're really starting to worry me out with the way you're acting. What's driving this, John? My gut. That's it. Your gut. Sunday knew John's instincts were incredibly sharp, and when he said, my gut, that meant it could practically be taken as fact. Here's my laptop, he said as he handed it to the big man, who flipped it open quickly and plugged in the flash drive. Then he heard a woman's voice. There are tens of thousands, and they're already here. They've been arriving over the past 7 years, known to and protected by highly placed officials in our government. Tens of thousands!
It's like a fucking full-on army. A jihadi army. This is going to be so good.
I got nowhere with the authorities in DC, and soon after meeting with some of them, I sensed I was being followed. The Islamic terrorists that are here are supported by sympathetic lawyers, doctors, judges, and CEOs. all woven into our society, funding the soldiers of their caliphate as they prepare to become active and begin the process of taking down what they call us, the Great Satan. They plan to make America the front line in their campaign of terror. I know a man who might be able to help stop this, or at least work with those who can help to stop this, because the kickoff of this plan is in Arizona with the help of the neighbouring cartels. This is fucking insane, man.
It's incredible. Absolutely incredible stuff.
Lawyers, doctors, judges and CEOs. Yeah, all well-known lefties.
But they're not
CEOs.
We're not talking lefty.
Yeah, Islamic terrorism.
Islamic terrorists. Like, this is getting fucking insane.
But I mean, obviously the idea is that lefties will support or at least sympathise with Islamic terrorists because we say things like Muslims are not all terrorists.
Yeah.
What they hear is, I sympathise with terrorists.
It's a cover for us getting tens of thousands of jihadists in so that we can instate a caliphate. Fuck me, this is so good.
He is part of and a leader in a network that stretches across this country of little-known blood brothers and sisters. So he's a leader as well.
Joe, his gut is known.
He is part of and a leader in a network that stretches across this country of little-known blood brothers and sisters who have special abilities.
I have to say, the concept of a shadowy network of Native Americans fighting against a QAnon-infused, paedophile, jihadist caliphate takeover of America is one of the best ideas I've ever heard in my life. Fuck me, this is some good shit.
John looked up at Sunday and asked, "Do you believe this could actually be happening here? There is very little that would surprise me these days, Big John." Really? You wouldn't be surprised by like a full-on...
Tens of thousands of jihadis
invasion,
secretly been ready, it's all happened, it's all done. Like, yeah, it makes sense to me. What planet are you on, man?
These are times that are not like anything we've seen before. So yes, I tend to feel I should believe it.
It's a fucking Native American, for Christ's sake. Yeah, we've never seen anything like this. An invasion? Trying to overthrow the what? No, I've never heard of anything like that happening before. We have to fight tooth and nail to defend America. We must fight and die for the white man. That's the lefties and the do-gooders and the jihadists in their gay coalition win.
Let's look at the lobby video Sunday. He sat watching the screens, eyes darting to and fro as he searched the dual images in view. One, the casino, and the other, the lobby. "I'm going to get you a cup of coffee. How do you want it?" Sunday asked. "Hot and black." "Like your women." "That was once true, if the opportunity presented itself," John responded, but remained laser focused on the screen.
What the fuck?
Waving Sunday to him, the big lawman pointed at three men who were on the video, cautiously wheeling a large suitcase through a crowd of seniors in the lobby waiting to check in. Their faces were not clearly visible because they were all wearing hats and sunglasses. Two had beards and one a heavy moustache. They looked like hippies in suits with fake facial hair, Sunday commented flatly. "That one there looks like an older guy trying to look like a younger guy. No fool like an old fool, eh? That one there looks like an older guy trying to look like a younger guy."
With a big fake beard. Fake hair. No wonder who it could be.
"That suitcase looks like it's got something pretty heavy in it." John looked at Sunday, who seemed lost in thought for a moment. The older Native American caught himself and looked somewhat embarrassed by his momentary lapse. John was surprised and concerned by Sunday's demeanour. "Where are your thoughts, Sunday?" The response was a shrug of the shoulders and a shake of the head. He didn't push his concern any further than he already had, but he was uneasy as he left the casino, hoping that his mentor wasn't getting ill or having some kind of mental issue. Something was wrong here. He said so long to Sunday, who replied, "John, I..." then stopped without going any further. John stared at the older tribesman, waiting for some kind of response. None came, with the exception of him raising his hand in goodbye. Pulling out onto the main road pointing north toward Phoenix, he got a call. It was Sunday. "I need to talk with you again. Come on back right now." He spun a quick U-turn and raced back to the casino. Sunday was... Why have that? Why have
this is
he
so
leave?
strange.
Why, like, literally, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
He leaves there and then comes back there. Like, why bother with that?
Yeah.
Sunday was waiting in the video surveillance room as John came roaring through the door.
Tiger face.
ready for anything that might be waiting for it. But he wasn't quite ready for what he was about to hear. Here, sit down. I've got something to say to you, and it makes my heart heavy to lay this all on you, but I have nowhere else to go with this.
Lay it on me, dog.
I've got to introduce you to a friend of mine. There's a trucking concern down in Yalden. You're probably going to think that I've gone completely insane with what I'm going to tell you. But I have to do this. Truth is, I'm far more embedded with national intelligence than anyone could ever know. Whatever you think I have been doing in the DEA, I haven't actually been doing. Okay, come on, man. What is going on with you? Talk to me. Our POTUS has personally filtered in and protected over 500 operatives and useful fools into the Department of Justice, the Department of State, FEMA, EPA, FBI, DEA, Secret Service, NSA, CIA, and ATF. Try saying that 5 times. The Department of State, FEMA, EPA, FBI, DEA, Secret Service, NSA, CIA, and ATF.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine.
It's that Billy Joel song, isn't it?
They are so hidden in those departments and branches that it would take an army to find and remove them before the takedown begins. I know that you have already figured out some of this, and you think what you found is really bad, but it's nothing compared to what I'm about to tell you. He patted John on the arm. There is the deep state that is in full operation, being funded by international bankers in and outside of this country. Their money is the main reason this POTUS got elected and re-elected. He is arm in arm with them and the Islamic terrorists as they have begun taking this country apart.
It just made me realise as well, like, we were talking about how, like, obviously Trump was the president at the point it was written. They're obviously talking about Obama, aren't they? Oh, he's a Muslim, he's secretly a Muslim.
Of course.
and he
Oh
wasn't
God,
born
you know, I
here.
hadn't even thought of
Yeah.
that. Oh God, I just realised this book is way more racist than I gave it credit for.
He's secretly Kenyan or whatever, and he's a Muslim, and blah blah blah.
Holy fuck. Their leaders are so sophisticated that most of their people don't even know who they are working for, or what will be the result of what they're doing. So it's just the way he never uses apostrophes, and like he'll never say there.
Yeah.
It's they are, and they don't even know who they are working for, and it's
Yeah,
like, that's not how people talk.
Yeah, but then it will be
yeah.
what you talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, it's so irritating, it's so frustrating. A lot of the time you kind of just say it
Yeah,
as it would
you
be said
translate
anyway,
it
and you
to
translate it, but yeah, hardly
you
any
have to
apostrophes.
translate
It's,
a lot of it into sounding like human speech.
Yeah, many of these people do not have any idea that they are being used by the deep state so insidiously. And if they knew, I'm sure they would be pissed and probably wouldn't be part of what is going on.
Damn.
And you're telling me that this goes up to the White House? John asked grimly.
God, I mean, these Native Americans, they must be thinking, God, is there no one we can trust? Even the White House can't be trusted? Even the President of the United States of America can't be... What? The whole world's been tipped on its head.
Oh my God.
Oh, God, go on. Lay it on me, dog.
There are around 50 members of the Muslim Brotherhood, Hezbollah, and possibly even ISIS that were brought in by POTUS, and they are there for the long haul, even after he is gone. That should tell you everything, but there's more. I know you picked up on it when we negotiated with the terrorists on the release of the soldier who deserted his unit in Afghanistan, wandered into their camp, and was captured by them.
Yeah, I know that. Bo Bergdahl. That's a real case. Again, another allusion to real stuff.
Yeah, of course I remember that. Then you also remember that POTUS traded 4 high-ranking commanders of ISIS and the Taliban, who are back on the battlefield and trying to kill our guys in a trade for him. Doesn't that tell you something? No?
Yeah, he loves our troops. We love our military, they are important.
Why does this POTUS spend... The fact that they just keep referring to him as POTUS.
Yeah, I think it's so that they can avoid putting a name
Yeah, of
because
course,
it needed to be
yeah.
fictionalised, and if they just made, it's just a purely coincidentally fictional black president.
Yeah.
Or they'd have to make it Obama. Yeah, I think they're just avoiding it because of the
Yeah.
race issue, because of how obvious it makes it.
Yeah. Why does this POTUS spend millions of dollars to hide his history? No college records. There doesn't seem
it's
to
just
be
Obama,
anyone who
yeah.
knew him, even in law school. No wedding pictures of him and his wife. How was he able to keep this all
Holy
private
shit,
when
they're
everyone
actually doing it. It's the birtherism shit. It's actually just the birther shit. This book just keeps getting get better and better. I knew when he started saying, "You're not going to believe what I've got to say," I knew it was going to be good. Even this, it still shocks me. This is so good, man.
How was he able to keep this all private when everyone else who had ever occupied the White House had to give up everything, including the colour of their underwear and everyone they ever knew?
And their tax return.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was just going to say, yeah. Not him. He is the one and only exception to this. The one and only. Why?
Trust in the plan. Where we go one, we go all. Obama is Hezbollah. Confirmed. I just love it as well. Just like the fact it's like Obama was bad precisely because he wasn't a communist.
Yes.
And he was completely full of shit.
Yeah.
And he was just a fucking shill for fucking neoliberalism, the actual deep state that they're talking about, the military-industrial complex and all this. He just went along with all of their bullshit and carried on the fucking drone strikes and everything. That's why Obama was bad. But they have to make it because no.
He was a communist.
It's because
and
he's
he
a
was this
communist,
radical.
Muslim, and it's because he's black. That's why he's bad.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what it all boils down to. So, because he's black, he must be Fred Hampton, and he's a monster, and he's going to eat your children. What a fucking joke.
What I'm talking about is what is called by some a cabal. An alliance of the bankers, the media, the terrorists, and the do-gooders.
What? No, the do-gooders, yeah, we knew we had to the do-gooders.
The
had to come
do-gooders.
into it. The PC brigade.
Oh my god! And the do-gooders, who are the useful fools of everyone I just mentioned. It's like, no, that'd be you lot.
Yeah.
That's you lot. The fact that there is a cabal of media and fucking terrorists,
yeah.
bankers,
Yeah.
and it's not do-gooders
Yeah.
that are the useful fools.
Yeah.
It's fucking right-wingers.
Yeah.
It's
Senators.
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Republican senators
They're not
who are all in
useful.
the pockets of fucking oil
Yeah,
tycoons.
they're not useful fools or useful idiots. They're fully aware
Yes,
of what
yeah.
they're doing. They're taking
Yeah.
money to do it. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and this is the scariest part of what has gone on. POTUS walked into the NSA and ordered them to delete an entire section. Thousands of files on the Muslim Brotherhood, Hezbollah, and even ISIS. All that intel and tracking tools gone. Poof! Up in smoke.
Lock her up.
Are you certain about what you're telling me, Sunday? Absolutely positive. Come on, tell me the whole story. John demanded with irony in his voice.
Incredible language there.
We have reached a tipping point, and if we don't somehow, some way get this out to the people, there is nothing any of us will be able to do. If anything happens to me, you are going to be screwed because you will then be the one of the few left who know about this. You better know that if they get wind you know this, your life won't be worth shit. God, we had better get our shit together and start watching our backs. Trust only shadow wolves. We are bound by blood, and that is our greatest tool.
17 girls' night out.
Woo! I think something bad's going to happen in this chapter. I think they're going to murder Noche.
Okay. Yeah, I'm expecting a McBain restaurant.
yeah.
That's what I'm expecting to happen.
And as soon as we nail Mendoza, my old lady and I are gonna sail around the world like we always wanted. We just christened the boat. Oh, yes, sir. Everything's gonna be just Damn. McBain.
Yes?
I'm not gonna make it.
Oh, stop talking crazy.
No. Just do one thing for me. Get Mendoza.
The reason I think Noche is going to die is because they've just introduced Sunday, who is basically just Noche again.
And
it's
another
like,
Noche.
Yeah, it's like Noche has become expendable now, hasn't
there's
it?
a surplus of Noches. Totally on the same page. I think whether it's Noche or somebody else, I think someone is going to get
one of the team,
surely
perhaps
getting
one
that.
of the Shadow Wolves themselves.
Yeah, and I feel like it
although I
has to-
do wonder if they would
they're completely
a Shadow Wolf
untouchable.
couldn't be killed.
Yeah, I think at this point it kind of has to be Noche.
Yeah.
We kind of called it quite a while ago.
Yeah.
I think now is sort of the time for it to happen. Noche was sitting at his desk in the Task Force squadron watching John, who was intensely focused on a phone conversation he was immersed in. I wonder what's going to happen next.
Here's to you, Noche. Happy New Year.
After the conversation ended, he said, "Hey, what do you say we grab us a couple of cold ones over at the flats, Big John?" Mendoza! Yeah, that sounds good, Noche, but only one for me. Been a long day, my brother. Got a lot on my mind that I didn't have this morning. I don't really understand, because like he showed this intimate knowledge of the deep state from the beginning, and now he's being told that the deep state exists, and it's supposed to be like a revelation.
Yeah, I've got to be honest at this point. I feel like this whole story is just a confused mess of nonsense. So like, you can't be
Don't
that
look for
surprised. Like, yeah, don't
consistency,
look
yeah.
for consistency. Exactly. Like,
Well, interesting theory, yeah. We'll see if it plays out. They drove the 7 miles to the Tortilla Flats Cafe out on a well-travelled but dusty trail on the reservation. The sun was setting and the air was beginning to be cooled by the rolling desert evening breeze. What you got on your mind, John? You sure look like something's bothering the living shit out of you. I'm being informed about shit that is going on between some people in government all the way up to the White House that could rain hell down on this country. Noche watched John closely. I just got a heads up that because of something I did, there's a hit coming at us. What exactly is it that you did? I found a body in the desert. Yeah, I know that, John. I also found a tooth, one that I believe came from that toothless body, and I withheld from declaring it as evidence. What made you do that? 3, 2, 1.
my God! Fuck me. His gut. The fact that several times now they've like made a point of saying, oh, and everyone knew that his gut was always
and they
right. And
always ask him why he did it, and he always gives the same answer.
Yeah. And they're like,
Oh yeah,
that,
that thing that's literally your catchphrase now. Why did I even ask a dumbass question like that? Noche muttered. It seems that as it turns out, the tooth belonged to someone who is investigating major corruption in several areas of the federal government and getting close to proving it. I fucking knew that was going to happen. That is absolutely not possible. That is a full-on continuity error. They're saying now that the body he dug up is the journalist. That's absolutely not possible.
I remember when I said
Yep.
that it was her, and
Yep.
you said that,
It
and
can't
it's like,
be.
yeah, of course you're right,
Yep.
but I was still like, it's still probably her.
Yep.
Don't look for continuity or anything to make sense.
So she was killed the night he found that body.
Fucking hell. Yeah, because I was still confused as to whether there were 2 women that they'd killed.
Yeah, that's what they've written themselves into.
Yeah.
So this is the timeline of events. Assuming that this is supposed to be her body, this is why that cannot be true. We open up. In the early afternoon, they find her body. He gets back to the office and gets a message from Bellamy telling him that this journalist, whose body they're now suggesting that it was, she tried to get in touch with you and she wants you to get back to her. He phones her there and she doesn't answer. Then they get the whole team together and they discuss what they found, and he tells them Sweet Tooth's story. And that night they go out in their SUVs driving around and they have the big chase and they have the home invasion hostage thing and they shoot those guys, and that's where they arrest Jaime, who later gets killed. Then the day after that, the next morning, John tried to reach the woman reporter Maria again, but he got her voicemail again. He had no way of knowing at that time what had happened the night before. The night before being while they were out driving in the desert, she was getting killed. The reason they were out in the desert is because he found her body. It's a complete time paradox. It's a time travel story now. Like, that literally cannot be true. The reason he was out in the desert is because he was out there investigating the area that her body was found in. It cannot be her. And
that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a plot hole.
Yes, that's a plot hole.
That's a plot hole.
Fucking cinema sins.
Yeah,
That's
that's cinema sins is what we call a plot hole.
Yeah, you can get your fucking little counter out for that, you fucking dickhead. Do you know he stole that thing from us?
Did he steal that?
Yeah, that's us. We did that first. No one's ever done
He
that.
stole our thing.
Yeah. Cunt. So just bear that in mind, folks, because it cannot be her. I hope I can cut all of this out. None of it goes in because it's not her, because if it is, that's the biggest, dumbest plot hole I've probably ever seen in a book.
Especially given how fucking needless it was.
Yep.
Like, if they'd have just got rid of the line,
Yep.
little did he know what had happened to her
Yep.
last night. Could have just got rid of that line and it would fix all of this. Do you know what? In many ways, I just don't care. I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, it adds to the fucking stupidity of the whole affair, so...
It endears the book even more to me, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. How does that bring you, us, into the mix? What I just got in that conversation is that her killers found my name on her list of people who she could trust with this information, and they believe that I may have enough to blow this whole thing wide open. What? What? Just listen to this. This is the sort of... this is levels of gibberish somehow hitherto unknown even to Blind Drunk. What I think is, with all this shit going on around us, I think we got our hands full. And you think we don't have our hands full, John?
No, he thinks we do. He just...
I think we got our hands full. And you think we don't have our hands full, John?
I still think this is the best book we've ever read on Blind Drunk, but that's the worst line on Blind Drunk.
Like I
it
said,
completely contradicts
this
itself.
is the only book with sentences in it that literally don't make any sense. And listen, just the full line here. What I think is, with all this shit going on around us, I think we got our hands full. And you think we don't have our hands full, John? No. Actually, what I think is that what we've seen so far is just the tip of the spear. I don't understand this. They don't... you can try and read into it, but that's you. You'd be right.
Yeah. I'm having trouble with that. I'm having trouble with that.
Spiritual. The big lawman paused for a moment. My brother, we are quite possibly in the middle of a major shitstorm. Bigger than any of us have ever experienced before. What do? Have a beer and chill for a bit. Come on, I'm buying. Like he's just said, anyone that's close to me is in danger. Like his girlfriend could be getting murdered right now. All of his law enforcement colleagues could be getting whacked right now, and he's like, fuck it, let's get drunk. I'll pay. Yeah. Parking lot had quite a few cars in it. Looks like some other people had the same urge for a beer. Great minds think alike, amigo. He nudged him with a friendly elbow poke to his ribs as he let out a quiet laugh. The cafe was dimly lit, and overhead fans brought a slight breeze to their faces as they found a table and sat down. Noche held up 2 fingers for the bartender, who knew them both well enough to know their brand of beer, which he had sitting in front of them within the next 2 minutes. I like this, Noche. Feels like Cheers. Where everybody knows your name.
They were just talking about how the deep state are going to murder them all, and now it feels like Cheers.
I love Cheers.
I don't understand. Has the book completely gone off the rails at this point?
That would imply that the words have been on them at any point. He lifted the beer to his mouth as Noche chuckled. Everyone on that show, Cheers, knew one another's names because they all lived at that bar. You, however, live in the desert where no one knows your name. And when it gets dark, they can't even see you. Noche said, just before being interrupted by a very attractive lady who came over to the table and sat down with him.
Oh, fucking hell.
And who are you, my lovely? Noche asked with pleasant surprise, tinging his voice. Is it really going to be this easy for them to get him? Like,
she'll poison him or something.
Poison in his ear while he
in
sleeps.
his fucking drink.
Named Sheila. She sat right across from John, staring intently into his eyes. She was tall, slender, and looked like she was about 20, with long, dark hair flowing over her shoulders. What's yours? Just call me Noche. Not asking you, I'm asking him. She nodded her head toward John.
Fucking hell.
Here we go again. No one's got a chance when you're around.
Jesus Christ.
How could I have forgotten that? What a dumbass! He laughed as he good-naturedly slapped the table.
He good-naturedly slapped the young woman.
She took it in stride, laughing. Smugly, but in a cute way. She leaned forward, exposing her ample breasts to John as her blouse fell away from her body, far enough to bring them into his view. This is fucking genius.
When it says exposing her breasts, right, that presumably just means like her cleavage, like
the blouse fell away.
It fell from her body.
It completely fell away. The buttons just dissolved. And the shirt just fell away. The big lawman remained expressionless as he stared back at her, forcing her to drop her eyes for a second. This gave John the opportunity to take control of the moment and direct the focus from him back onto her. Even though I'm enjoying the view, Sheila, I'm having trouble with why you're showing it to me, John said, almost in a whisper, which caused her to lean in close. I'd like to buy you a drink. I want to see how long it takes for that drink to go from your lips to your brain. She chuckled suggestively. To my brain, not my stomach first, John asked lightly. To your blood, actually, she smiled. After it gets there, the rest is academic. Academic? Interesting. John was impressed by her choice of words. Too late, lovely lady. I already have this beer, and that's my limit when I'm driving. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, I'll have to take that for a no. You know you might regret this, tall man. Regret? In what way? She shrugged and answered, nobody on their deathbed ever regrets what they did in life. They regret what they didn't do. And you, she said emphatically, will regret not doing me. She rose slowly with her eyes fixed on John, then turned and walked away, swaying her hips in slow and sexy manner as she went. Fuck. slow and sexy manner. Noche said loud enough for her to hear, "So what about giving me a try, gorgeous?" "You're not tall enough," she answered stoically, and she was gone. So Noche's about to get his head blown off, I'm sure.
Yeah, as they go back to the car and get
exactly,
fucking shotgunned or something.
Yeah, this is the calm before the storm. What is this? The best looking woman I have ever seen around here tries to flat out pick your ass up and you friggin' turn her down. Cold. What is it? You need Viagra? I have Viagra right here in my wallet. Not that I need it. And why do you carry it? John laughed. Just in case. But let me tell you, with something that looks like that, in no way would I need any help. John just looked at his close friend with a knowing grin, arms folded. He chuckled. "You still don't get it, do you? That chick was on a mission." Chick on a mission.
Chick on a mission.
Starring Pam Grier.
Fuck you, fuck this, I want to see Chick on a Mission starring Pam Grier.
Yeah. She's gonna clean up Harlem,
yeah.
One bullet at a time. Yeah. What mission, John? Not sure. Maybe it's Alicia trying to test my fidelity. Or maybe she's just a hooker. Who can say?
Or maybe the deep state.
You remember the conversation you were literally in the middle of having? Jesus Christ. Fucking brainless mooks.
All around in my hometown, trying to track me down. Yeah. They say they want to bring me in guilty for the killing of a deputy, for the life of a deputy. Well, I say, oh now, oh, I shot the sheriff. The sheriff, but I swear it wasn't self-defense. Yeah, I said I shot the sheriff. Oh Lord, and they say there's a capital offense. Yeah, yeah. Sheriff John Brown always hated me.
You should become a science fiction writer instead of a cop or a DA with that imagination you've got.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.